Our next presenter is a husband, entrepreneur, engineer, and graduate student, preferably in that order, but sometimes it changes. In his free time, he likes to hang out on his hammock, design new things to 3D print, and create Tumblr pages to poke fun at his coworkers. Please welcome Eduardo Torrealba.
As somebody who grew up with the internet, this is kind of what I imagined the world looked like before it existed. Everything was in black and white. You could only communicate with other people through a telegram, and everybody had a mustache. It was probably kind of boring. But thankfully, by 1992, people had invented the internet. And so we finally had computer screens that we could stare at. And if you were Robert Redford, you could stop the downfall of the global economy using a computer in the movie Sneakers. But for most normal people, using computers was still really difficult because you had to have special skills and abilities to be able to get the most out of these frustrating machines. But then thankfully, Internet 2.0 came along. And a bunch of guys who looked a lot better on the movie screen than they do in real life invented websites like Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and all those other great places where people could really reach the pinnacle of human expression, sharing cat pictures with each other. But this internet was a long way from the science fiction predicted future that we'd seen for so long, like in movies such as Minority Report, where the Gap store was able to tell Tom Cruise what types of tank tops to buy based on his previous purchases. But thanks to the low cost of a lot of technologies like actuators and sensors, we're finally building an Internet of Things that's going to be able to make science fiction into reality. Some companies like Chevy and Tesla and a lot of other car companies have started building vehicles that connect to the internet so they can be controlled, started, unlocked, locked, and even get maintenance reports on a regular basis. So these devices are connected to the internet in a way that's never happened before. And the smart home is finally becoming a reality. Thanks to companies like SmartThings, you can internet your entire house by connecting your lights, your fans, your HVAC system, and even your smoke detectors to the internet, so that your house will actually change as you walk through the different rooms and become a more comfortable, livable place. But that experience doesn't have to end in your house, because as you leave your house, you can actually start interacting with different devices that know you personally. So imagine going into a restaurant and picking up a menu from a company like a la carte that knows you're a vegetarian, and you never have to see another meat dish on the menu again. Or maybe it's tracking your fitness goals, and it's not going to show you anything that's over the remaining amount of calories that you have left. But the future isn't really all Jetsons, because if you think about something where your every move, the clothes you're wearing, and the food you're eating is known by the internet, you could imagine a place where it looks a lot more like Big Brother and a lot less like the Jetsons. And if you've been keeping up with the news, you know that PRISM is a program that the NSA has been using to gather metadata on things like emails, cell phone calls, and other types of communication that millions of people around the world are having. But imagine how much scarier it would be if the government knew your exact location in any building, the types of food you're eating, the types of clothes you're wearing, and the people that you're talking to in real life. It's not hard to think about a future where instead of checking in on Foursquare at your favorite bar, you're checking into your desk every morning when you get to work so that your employer can make sure that you're really being productive all day. And they'll stop paying you if you go to the bathroom or if you take too long of a coffee break. Imagine if they even tracked your location outside of work and you were never able to blame being late on traffic again because you just left late. Or what if your insurance company was able to connect to your internet-connected scale and check out your body mass index as it changed over time? So if your weight went too high or too low, they could exclude certain types of coverage from your plan. It's not really a world I want to live in. Or what if your car company could have those cool internet-connected features, but they were also able to check on the way you're using your vehicle? So if you were driving your car over the speed limit for too many days in a row, maybe they'd shut it down for a few days just to teach you a lesson. Or if you put something in your house that was using too much energy, your utility company would shut everything down too to make sure that you're not using too much of your share of energy. But as scary as some of this stuff could be, it's important that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. A lot of different people are starting to recognize the potential that the Internet of Things might hold for society. And in a recent cover story, Wired examined some of the ways that the Internet of Things could fulfill our needs, understand our desires, and enable some of our dreams. One area that the Internet of Things could really have a huge positive impact on is in urbanization. A lot of cities around the world have urban farms or hydroponic systems, but these could be improved by the Internet of Things to automate growing fresh food for millions of people around the world. Or you could have devices like the Nike Fuel Band that track your personal health, or personal alert systems like All Alert made by a local startup. These things could be combined and become a personal body tracking system that could alert health authorities in case there's ever an outbreak of a disease, or administer life-saving medication at a moment's notice, or even call for an ambulance if an accident had happened. Or you could take internet-connected devices like bike-sharing programs and autonomous cars and combine those with smart thermostats and internet-connected electrical grids to massively reduce the carbon footprint of every person around the world, thereby reducing the potential impacts of global warming to a massive degree. It's a really exciting world that hasn't fully matured yet. And that's the really important part. People like you and me can actually have an impact on the way that the Internet of Things is built, because it's not going to happen overnight. So if you think about the protests that happened recently over SOPA and PIPA, when these draconian laws were being proposed to go out there and track people's behavior on the internet, like I said earlier, that's even more important as we enter into an age with the Internet of Things. So it's going to be vital that we maintain an active role as citizens with our government to make sure that these kind of laws don't ever pop their head up again. Or you could also vote with your wallet. You don't just have to go out there and buy the newest thing just because it exists. There's tons of projects popping up on Kickstarter, or new products going up on shelves every single day from companies who want your dollars for Internet of Things devices. But it's important to stop and think about, do those companies really have our best interests at heart? Are they really going to protect our data and do the things with that information that we want? But really, in the end, Walt Disney said it best, as he often did. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. So I'd encourage you to put down your cell phones, shut off your computers, pick up a soldering iron, and start building some internet-connected devices so that you can have your own input on what the Internet of Things really looks like. That's what I'm trying to do every day in my own company, and I'll hope you join me as we build the future together. Thank you so much.